Hello everyone, boys and girls, and welcome to another episode of the Hora Blaugrana Podcast. And today we have a lot to discuss because the Champions League has already finished and we gotta go over every single group and all potential suitors or potential rivals, opponents that Barcelona can face in the round of 16. I'm going to try to upload one of these podcasts by the end of every week, so hopefully kind of either Sunday or Monday, depending on how time is going on. But certainly this weekend I didn't have enough time. I'm killing off with kind of like university. I have to finish off 3 different projects that I have by the end of Christmas. Technically they're due to January of 2019, but since I'm gonna go traveling around Europe, which is something you're gonna hear a little bit on in a next video I'm gonna be posting, I think that it's kind of like time for me to focus a little bit on university, finish out those projects, those essays that I have to do, and then we can come back here stronger to give you more like regular scheduled content, probably at the start of 2019. So with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop us a like and be sure to click the subscribe button down below if you want to hear more podcasts just like this one or watch videos like we have on the channel. I'm going to leave you up top here the latest match reaction that we had. That was the 1-1 draw between Barca and Spurs. But now let's finally start talking about some Champions League. And the very first group that we're going to be taking a look is obviously Group A. And on the first, we got Dortmund on second. We got Atletico Madrid on third, Club Brugge. And on fourth, Monaco. A Monaco side which only managed to get 1 point. They draw one of the games against Club Brugge, if I'm not wrong. Or was it against Atletico Madrid? I cannot remember too closely. But they lost 5 other games, really. They only managed to score 2 goals. Two goals in the whole entirety of the group stage, which is absolutely disappointing for a club like Monaco, especially with the talents that they have. We know that they had a kind of like difficult time with Jardim. It seems like the player no longer want to hear his message, and then the club decided to appoint Thierry Henry, and it doesn't seem like he has made much of an impact. I hope that he can turn it around because I think he's a manager that could have some future in football. I really like the way he views this game, but certainly that Monaco side needs something to wake up. And fortunately enough, they're out of the relegation zone in Ligue 1, so hopefully they can transmit that into, hopefully they can continue, hopefully they have a good consistent run of form to get them out of those relegation zone and be safe, because I really want to see this team improve, because Monaco is a team which I feel is the only ones in Ligue 1 that actually can compete with PSG, so it's sad to see them actually very, very low in the positions that they are right now. So, in third position we got Club Brugge, and they did a very good job to manage to get in the Europa League, to be honest with you. At the start, obviously, I thought many of us would have think that Monaco would have put much of a rivalry, basically, much more of a aggressive team here in this group, but Club Brugge just got into the third spot, so good for them. The second one was Atletico Madrid, so in this one I was quite surprised because, to be honest with you, I thought Atletico Madrid was going to be kind of like the revelations of this season. I thought that Atletico Madrid was going to be one of the best teams in Europe, and right now their form actually is not that good. They have suffered a lot of injuries, yes. Godin, Jose Maria Jimenez, they've been injured. Savic has been injured. Lucas Hernandez has been injured. And there have been moments where they didn't have a single first 11 center back to be capable of like starting that team, and they had to rely on their kind of like secondary fial players. Fial, that's a word I always say because in Spanish that's like what I know. But fial, it's kind of like in English, kind of your secondary team, your B team. So they've been relying on those type of players for important matches. And that's kind of like a mix between certainly, how do you call it, being like unlucky, and also because you have such many new players join the squad out of nowhere. You had Thomas Lemar, you had Santiago Arias, you had Rodri Hernandez, you got many more players joining, Gelson Martins. You got a lot of players, new players into the squad, and certainly more attacking players. And that I think has suffered a little bit for Diego Simeone and his philosophy, because certainly this season Atletico Madrid just seems a little bit worse in defense while not necessarily being the best in attack. I thought that they were going to be a little bit more expansive perhaps with the players that brought in, but they just don't seem to be doing any of them. So right now Atletico Madrid, I feel that they're good enough to obviously compete in La Liga and the Champions League. But as you see here, on a group where Dortmund, Atletico Madrid, Club Brugge, and Monaco, I thought that they were going to be first, like by not a landslide, but like safely first. I know we got ourselves a good, very, very intense Dortmund from Lucien Favre, yeah. And my God, this guy is a masters of like exceeding our expected goals. Like, he has done that for every single club he has gone to. Nice, then Borussia Mönchengladbach. He's been all over the field, and he has been doing great in every single club he has. The case with Dortmund is actually one where they do have a very, very good squad. They got a very good solid defense. You know, they got Rafael Guerreiro, or if not, they got Ashraf Hakimi through the left. They could also put Diallo also can play as a left back, if I'm not wrong, but I think he provides more like of a cover in defense, being as a center back, alongside obviously Manuel Akanji. And then they also got Omer Toprak as a substitute for the right Lucas Piszczek, then the same way Hakimi can play there. So they got a very good overall depth in defense. The midfield, it's the same. They got very a powerhouse in Thomas Delaney that they brought in from Werder Bremen, if I'm not wrong. And then alongside, they got Axel Witsel from China. That I didn't understand why this guy was still playing the Russian league when he was there, and then why he moved to Russia, why he moved to China. And now you can see that he's actually way up there with one of the best midfielders in kind of that box-to-box role. Really, he has been outstanding since joining Dortmund, and I think that he won't be stopping anytime soon. And certainly, you just look at his career, and this is probably the biggest club he has been in, and he has so much more ability that I think that if he like joined a top European team earlier, he would have been such a much better player and more kind of like well known. And then further forward, you obviously have Marco Reus kind of exercising a new role as a number 10. You got Jadon Sancho, the English future wonder kid, which is doing absolutely incredible. He has, I think, kind of like second most in assists. I think Messi already overturned him. I'm not too sure. I gotta check on that stat. But that is something that happens very rarely. You know, having this kid that just at 18, 19 years old, he's demolishing the Bundesliga and certainly lighting up Europe. And that gave me actually the incentive to look actually how old he is. I think he may be even younger. Yeah, no, he's 18, okay? He's 18, but he's a 2018. So, like, I'm 18 years old as well, but I'm almost gonna be 19 this year because my birthday is at the end of the year. It's actually the last day of the year. It's gonna be the 31st of December. But yeah, I think this kid, it's out. Why you say kid? This guy, it's outstanding. You know, Jadon Sancho, it's wonderful. And then you got Paquito Alcácer. You got Paco Alcácer, who came from Barcelona, and he was a player that has been one of my favorite players probably in a while, really, because he, for me, is just kind of like the perfect personality to be a footballer. You need to have a lot of effort and charisma, basically, and have a good kind of like character to yourself, you know? You have to work hard in my eyes. I will take every single day of the week hard work over talent. That is something that I always say in my videos, and Paco Alcácer is a good kind of like example of that. Paco Alcácer is an outstanding player. He may not have the talent, the raw talent of somebody like, I don't know, like a Luka Jovic, like Ante Rebic, or like Timo Werner, but somebody like Paco Alcácer makes up for that because of his outstanding work rates and just running his ass off. That is something that I praise every single time on players. And for instance, right now, one player that I think needs to learn a little bit of that is kind of like Ousmane Dembélé, for instance. We know that he came from Dortmund, and at Barcelona, he's not working too nicely. Because why? Because I don't think he's working that hard. He needs to, I don't want to obviously kind of like undermine a footballer, certainly, because they put a lot of work to be where they are. Like, my God, if I had that amount of money, fame, or stuff like that at 21 years old, I would be like, I don't know, laying in bed every single day because I had achieved everything in life. But there's more to that than just like riches and stuff like that. You have to work hard, and I think that that's an example. For instance, Paco Alcácer, he has moved away from Barcelona. He has continued that mentality, and look how much he has improved. Look at how many goals he has scored, and now he's in the eyes of the public eye, really, because now he's in a club in the Champions League. Previously, he was at Valencia, but he didn't have that exposure. But now he's the main guy in Dortmund, and he's doing wonderfully. And it's good to see that they signed, obviously, Paco Alcácer on a full contract from Barcelona before he was in a loan, of course. And for me, that's very good because, one, Barcelona get rid of a player which some fans didn't like, but most importantly, I think it's a player which it's kind of limited right now at Barcelona, because I don't think he's, in cases of like raw ability, this is gonna be like completely kind of like counter, what do you say, like being kind of hypocrite, because I'm gonna say this, but like Paco Alcácer, I think that potential wise, he will never be kind of like a wonderful striker, like a world-class striker, like, you know, like Luis Suarez, like Cavani, like Lewandowski, but he will be good. He will be very, 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 very good for a club like Dortmund, for a club like I don't know, he can be even a good player for a club like Chelsea, stuff like that, where they need good players. He could reach the level of somebody like Mauro Icardi, but Mauro Icardi for me now is just a little bit higher, because he has the raw talent and the work rates. But in that sense, like Paco Alcácer may not have that amazing talent, but he makes up for work rate. So for me, like I said, once again, I think Dortmund is a side to watch, and I'm very happy actually that they finished first in a sense, because it means that Barcelona cannot get them in the round of 16, even though it would be an amazing match, and I would like to face them against probably the round of the quarterfinals or the semifinals if they make it. I would love to face off Dortmund, because it would make for an amazing watch. Just imagine the scenes of the Signal Iduna Park. Barcelona haven't been there, I think, ever. I'm not too sure. Leave in the comment box down below if they have ever been there, if Barcelona has faced off Dortmund before in the Signal Iduna Park or the Westfalen Stadium, but I think that's no longer its name. So yeah, I would love to face them, but well, there's nothing more to talk about this group, because Atletico Madrid, we cannot face them, because obviously we got the regulation that says that teams from the same country cannot meet each other due to like TV rights. That's bullshit. I don't understand that part of football, really. It needs to improve. In Group B, we move on to Barcelona, Tottenham, Inter, and PSV. In first, we got Barca, like I said, Tottenham second, Inter third, PSV fourth. And really here in this group, I don't want to spend too much time in, because we cover Barcelona, we cover all the matches. We've known this group for already kind of like 5 months. So really, there's not too much need to talk about this group. Barcelona, I think we did good in the group stages. I think we did a good job. Certainly, it doesn't bother me, the Champions League, because every single performance we've had has been, if not like amazing, it has been good enough, you know? So especially, I'm kind of like hinting at those two games between Inter and Spurs, but that's something that happens with Barcelona. For instance, the last Champions League, if I remember correctly, we were with Juventus in the group. We had, who did we have in the Champions League group last season? Let me check again, because I remember Juventus. Oh, no, I don't remember. Let me check. Barcelona Champions League 2000 and what is it? 17, 18. We had Juventus, yeah, we had Sporting, and then we had, was it Sporting and Olympiacos? That was our group, and we won against Sporting, we won against Juventus, we won against Olympiacos, and then we won against Olympiacos again, and then we got 2 more draws against Sporting and Juventus, or something similar to that. And that is exactly the same what happened here, really. When you're already kind of first, you're already qualified, do you really want to put that much effort into those 2 final games? I don't think so. So overall, I think Barcelona did good. It's good that Malcolm got a goal. It's good that we didn't lose a game. It's good that we scored 14 goals. It's good that we conceded only 5. There's so much things we can improve on, but right now, Barcelona in the Champions League, it's good. In La Liga, the Copa del Rey, it's another different subject, but I don't want to talk about that because it's a Champions League special. But now I want to talk about Tottenham, and in the case with Tottenham, they're a team which I recognize the hard work Mauricio Pochettino has put in. I really do. Like, I also recognize the amazing performances and talent of people like Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Christian Eriksen, Heung-min Son, Davinson Sanchez, Jan Vertonghen, Toby Alderweireld. Like, oh my, you see all the players that I'm naming, they're absolutely kind of like top. They're really top in each of their positions, probably just with the exception of Dele Alli, which in honesty it's kind of like thereabouts, but that's just because there's so many good midfielders right now in world football, so he's like a little bit overshadowed. But if we took kind of like 20 out of the picture, he will be up there, you know. He's really good. And the thing with Tottenham is that I understand all of that they have. They're such a good team. They're the best Tottenham team in the history of Tottenham. They're really the best team in Spurs history. But they need to win something. They need to win something, because if you think right now about a team that has won something, that haven't never won something, and you remember them, I don't think that there is too many we can name, in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Are we going to remember this Tottenham team? Are we going to remember Harry Kane? Are we going to remember Christian Eriksen? Probably, yeah, because we've seen them play and we can agree that they were amazing. But like our children, kind of like your children that you may have right now, they may not recognize that, because kind of like winning something, trophies mark history. History is written by the winners. That is one of the most famous quotes. I cannot name who said it, but one of the most famous quotes I've heard all my life throughout school. And throughout 14 years, that was the quote that stuck in my head. History is written by the winners. You could say the same thing about like the World War and stuff like that, because you decide, if you're the winner, kind of like how you perceive different topics. And if Tottenham doesn't have like win anything, or they cannot like say that they were such an amazing team, because you can easily get refuted by saying, oh, they were bad, they haven't won anything. So for me, Tottenham, they need to win something. And I think that in the Champions League especially, they need to progress, because they're a really good team, really. They're a good team that is solid, it's balanced. And that what makes him a very good candidate for me, not to win the Champions League, but to go far. And I hope that they go far. I hope that we face them again in more of like on a more important occasion. I would love to face them again, because they make for really interesting matches, because they're a team that have a lot of personality. And that is something that you don't find too much here in the world of football. PSG, they don't have personality. Liverpool, they can, but they're kind of fluffy. They kind of like are amazing at Anfield, but then weak outside. Bayern Munich right now, they have nothing. Manchester City, they are getting personality, but still it's a little bit more to kind of reach that level. Real Madrid, one day has personality, the other day they lose 3-0 to CSK Moscow. And Manchester United, don't even get me started about Man United, but you get what I mean. I think that Spurs is a very competitive team. And they need to win something in the Premier League, certainly. They need to get a trophy, and then they need to go over to Europe and win something. Certainly, I thought that it would be best for them actually to go and drop to the Europa League. I think that if there's any Spurs fans actually hearing this podcast, they may be like, what is this guy saying? How the Europa League is... How can the Europa League be better than the Champions League? Well, in all honesty, you got to start somewhere. And if you take a look at the competition that's in the Europa League this year, it's good, yeah? But Spurs probably be the best team that would drop in the Europa League by a landslide. So in that sense, I thought that they had more chance of winning that competition than the Champions League. But, well, that's going to now come and bite me in the ass, right? We're going to be facing Spurs in the final, and everybody's going to remember what I just said. So, well, GG. In third in the group, we got Inter de Milan, Internazionale, and I love Inter. I really like Inter because they're a team with a lot of kind of like, not necessarily a lot of history, but they remind me a lot of like kind of like the Barcelona of the once Italian reign, because you had Milan and then you had Inter, and you had this like AC Milan that just dominated the Serie A year, every single year, my God. And then you got Inter de Milan that just like won Champions League out of nowhere. So I don't know. I've always had a fun for Inter, and especially because my dad followed a lot of Inter de Milan. So as I grew up watching a little bit of Barcelona, I always had to watch Inter de Milan as well. There were two different leagues. You could enjoy different stuff. And certainly at that time, since obviously you're a kid and you cannot dominate what's going to be shown on TV, your parents, your dad is the one that chooses what's going to be put on TV. So I had to watch a lot of Inter Milan as well. And I don't know, I just like Milan. I like the players that they have. I rate really a lot of the players. Perisic, I rate him a lot. Icardi, Nainggolan, Brozovic. Brozovic is outstanding. Have you seen the stats of Brozovic this season? He should be way, like, he could be such a good player. He is a good player. He is such a good player. But, I mean, like, he could have been in such a much better club. Like, I don't want to be no disrespect to Inter, but in the last few years, they've not been up there, you know? But I think Brozovic could have made a move to, I don't know, like a Bayern Munich and be, like, way better. More, like, recognized by the general public. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and then, well, like, Skriniar. Skriniar has to be the best... I don't know. I don't want to say it, but for me, it has to be the best center back to watch in world football right now. That's the best way to put it. It's not the best center back right now in world football, but it's the best center back to watch in my opinion. He drives the ball so brave out of the defense and just pushes on forward through the lines, cutting deep through the midfield even sometimes. And he creates a lot of chances for a center back. And I love that. I would love to have Skriniar at Barcelona. I would love him if we don't get the leaked, or you know what? Let's get the leaked and let's kick Piqué out of the side and let's get Skriniar too. You know, and let's have Umtiti, Lenglet, the leaked, and Skriniar. That would be such a good defense. We wouldn't even need to like start Busquets anymore. We can give him rest and just put like Umtiti in the CDM position or Skriniar by that manner. Or even play like, I don't know, like 6 at the back, you know, have Nelson Semedo for the right, have Skriniar, have the leaked, have Lenglet, Umtiti, and then have for the left Jordi Alba. But yeah, that's like, okay, that's getting stupid. But yeah, I mean that they're kind of like unfortunate to actually not qualify to the round of 16. I feel that their fans deserved a little bit more in that term. They did a very good campaign, but different to Tottenham, they like started off really strong, and by the end they started to deviate a little bit, and I think that's where they got it wrong. Certainly you want to continue that constant form, and they don't have the players to do so. Like Barcelona started strong, and you could see that we also like kind of declined in performances in the Champions League, but our squad is good enough, you know, to get a draw against Spurs. But Inter, they are good enough to get a draw against PSV. So there's a difference in kind of like quality, obviously, that at the end of the day show you that Inter are still not there yet. Obviously, I think Tottenham is one step above Inter at this current moment, but if they put their act together, once again, like I say, with Tottenham, they could really have a chance at winning the Europa League. And I feel they should. They should go again to go the Europa League, get their fans going, and really get them believing that they are back again in that kind of like elite of European football. Another final team in Group B was going to be PSV Eindhoven. And with PSV, I kind of want to say that they've been competitive. They've really been competitive. They managed to give us such an amazing game in Eindhoven, really, to be honest with you. At the Camp Nou, but in the Netherlands, they did such an amazing job. And then against Inter, they drew. Against Spurs also, they lost 2 games, but they gave them such a good game. You know, they're a team that is worth like taking your hat off and being, what a great opponent we have. Well played. That's the thing you gotta say with PSV. So in Group C, we got PSG first, then Liverpool, then Napoli, then Red Star Belgrade. With Red Star, I just want to say once again, at the start of the season, I kind of like undermined them really. But now I kind of like raise my cup and be like, very well played, son, because they managed that draw against Napoli, which wasn't easy. And then they managed that victory against Liverpool, which was even harder. So good job on Red Star Belgrade. They did have an amazing performances at home. The atmosphere was insane. Away is always going to be tougher. They really gave PSG a good hard time at the Parc des Princes, but at the end of the day, they end up winning. So overall, very well done on your reappearance in the Champions League. Next up, we got Napoli, and with Napoli, it's kind of like a heartbreak situation because I wanted to see Napoli qualify for the round of 16. I really wanted to, and that is because I wanted to see Ancelotti be once again that amazing Champions League manager. You know how good he set up his teams in two-legged affairs. I just wanted to see that, and especially him doing it with an Italian team would have been outstanding. But they lost that final game at Anfield 1-0 against Liverpool. And actually, I also wanted Liverpool to not qualify to round of 16, and that was because I wanted Liverpool to compete in the domestic league against Manchester City, because they're basically their only kind of like real opponents that they have. Right now, they're first. Let's see if that can last with them in the competition in the Champions League. But honestly, if I was a Liverpool fan, I would have honestly also obviously would have liked to progress in the Champions League. It's very important for them to do so, especially if we take into account that they reached the final last season. And then at number 1, we got PSG. And with PSG, they're really not too much I want to comment on because it's kind of really simple. PSG started off very slowly because they got Thomas Tuchel. They got a very good new philosophy that certainly needs a little bit more of gear turning to get working. You know, they need that machine to start really cranking and doing good. But they kind of like reached that point by the end of the group stages, and certainly now in League they don't really have any competition. They are like 18 points or even more, like separating first to second place. So good job on PSG on that one, but certainly their main prize has to be the Champions League. And with people like Neymar, Mbappe, and Cavani, they have to focus on that more than ever, because I think it's going to be the last season with Neymar in PSG. I really do think it's going to be the last season of Neymar at PSG. I think that he has realized that he left to kind of like escape Messi's shadow, and then we got Mbappe shadow him over once again. He got a better player, shadow him over. Mbappe is not better than Neymar, but you know what I mean. Like, I think that Mbappe just has rise so fast, and that's kind of like selling more than Neymar. And Neymar, his level, his like quality cannot be reached in Ligue 1. He has to go somewhere else where his quality can be appreciated. And the team, obviously, that we could face from this group is Liverpool. And with Liverpool, I'm kind of like torn apart once again because I want to play them. I really wanted to play them because I kind of feel gutted that we didn't face off against them in the Champions League last season because we lost to Roma. So I want to face off Liverpool. But I feel that this team is, if not kind of like worse than the one of last season. I feel they're different. They're not worse. They're just different in their own right. They're a more dynamic team and they can create more situations for Barcelona. And I feel that certainly this team can have more chances of beating this Barcelona team. If we compare Barcelona last season with Liverpool last season, I think that it was more even, but in here it's kind of like more of a lottery. So I don't know. Liverpool Barcelona would be a good match to watch, but I obviously want to get through of the round of 16, so I wouldn't necessarily love to see Liverpool face off against Barcelona. So I guess not to anybody's surprise here, I don't have too much to talk about Group D. In Group D, actually, it finished first Porto, then second Schalke, then third Galatasaray, and then fourth Lokomotiv Moscow. Something that I did praise about this group at the start of the season was that I thought it was going to be much more balanced than it actually was. Because Porto just completely dominated. Then Schalke, who is doing horribly bad in the Bundesliga, I thought that they were also going to be much better. They were decent enough. They got 3 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss, which is thereabouts decent. And then we got Galatasaray, who only won 1 game. Lokomotiv Moscow only won 1 other game. And then they lost 4 or 5 games respectively. So it was kind of like a one-sided group, more than I actually expected. And from that group, obviously, I would love to have Schalke. I think that even though I may sound like a douche, I would love to face off against Schalke. Normally, I don't like to face off against these teams because you may think it's easy, and then if you lose, the pain is harder to basically like overcome. But with Schalke, really, I feel that since they're doing bad in the Bundesliga, they won't react in the Champions League. I really don't feel that. For instance, if we take a look at Roma last season, they still, at the point of the match between Barcelona and Roma, they were doing good in Serie A. That's why they're here right now in the Champions League. So, yeah, I would love to face off against Schalke. And then in first, we got Porto. Porto, well, once again, outstanding, really. I don't have much to say about them. They did a very good job to get first of the group. And that's actually going to allow them to probably get an easy matchup and progress to the quarterfinals. That's something that Porto has done almost probably every season. So, good job for Porto. In Group E, we got Bayern Munich, Ajax, Benfica, and EAK Athens. So, first of all, with Bayern Munich, I feel that Bayern, where can I start with them? They're not good. They're really not good right now. They're not up to scratch. They're probably better than Manchester United and Real Madrid, who are doing horribly in their respective leagues. But they're still not, I think, amazing. Like, really, I feel that Dortmund will win the Bundesliga this season because Bayern just look really, really bad. And you could just see the years in that squad and how kind of like tough is on them. They just really look slow. They are able to control the games. They rely too much on Ribery. So no, for me, Bayern Munich, they're not a contender this season. They're really not a contender. Like, how is James Rodriguez not even playing? I think he's even injured. He's injured now. But before, he should have played more games. Like, they have the internal problems with Niko Kovac, the same with the board of directors and Rummenigge and all of them. They can F off, you know, because they're not doing a good job with this team. It's sad to see once again this team not being treated like it needs to be, because they're the best team in Germany. But with that being said, they need to improve, certainly. I wanted Ajax actually in this group to finish first, because with Ajax, I just feel we have a bond. Being a Barcelona fan, being in Barcelona, obviously the institution, we kind of like owe them something, because it's their philosophy we're kind of like copying, really. It's their way of playing that Johan Cruyff started off with. So there is a link between our two clubs, and that's why so many other players fit in our system. Silesen, amazing. If we get De Ligt and De Jong, they will be wonderful. Why? Because they play in Ajax before. Mostly the players we love to have are because they play in Ajax before. Like Eriksen would have been amazing for Barcelona. So yeah, I feel that Ajax should have finished second. They are right now, for me, more competitive than Bayern Munich. They really, really are. They gave them the hardest games I feel Bayern Munich has had this season. The hardest really games they have faced off in this entire season. Ajax did outstanding on both the home and away leg, and especially in the home now today. They beat them. They drew 3-3, and Ajax on every single time, even though Bayern Munich scored those 3 goals, Ajax was in the front foot. They were dominating that game. I didn't know how Bayern Munich scored the goals really, because Ajax were outstanding. And Dusan Tadic, my God, that guy is kind of like the Serbian Messi. He really floats around and connects the midfield wonderfully with the forward line, and still has that ability to start the play and finish it for his own. Players that can do that are wonderful. Players that can get the ball from the middle of the park and then put it in the back of the net, they're unique. And Dusan Tadic, I feel that all these years, what has he been doing in Southampton? What has he been doing in Southampton? He's been rotting there. Look at how much talent this guy has. So yeah, he has to continue here, and hopefully, I don't know if any bigger club would get him, but this guy is outstanding. And now I'm not even going to talk about Benfica and AEK Athens, because I just think they've been bad. Like, Benfica drew against Ajax, then they won twice against AEK Athens. I thought that they were going to be better, but who knows? Like, right now Benfica are not doing too good, even in the Liga NOS, or NOS, I don't know how you say it. So yeah, in this group, obviously the team we would face off would be against Ajax, and I would like to face off against Ajax, you know? I would really like to face off against them. It's kind of like the dad, you know? It's kind of like Ajax being the Jedi. You know, have you ever seen Star Wars? The Jedi being the guy, like the master, and we've been the apprentice, and then the apprentice kind of like surpassed the master. That's the feeling I'm getting from this. I would love to see something similar to that, and I think it would be for such an amazing game to watch, even better than the one with Liverpool and Dortmund. So right now, for me, the best team we could face off would be against Ajax, because of kind of like, we could beat Ajax. I think we're certainly the favorites, but more importantly, I don't think we run that kind of like huge risk of losing, but still we have that show, because football is about the entertainment at the end of the day, and playing against Ajax would be so much fun. In Group F, we got Manchester City, and then we got Lyon in second, third Shakhtar Donetsk, and fourth Hoffenheim. I went on a landslide and say that Hoffenheim were going to finish second in this group, and they finished fourth. Nagelsmann, I feel that he's kind of like appointment with RB Leipzig messed the team a little bit. They still be managing great results in the Bundesliga right now, but in the Champions League, it has not really gone that far. Really, their team is, I don't feel they're competitive enough for the Champions League. They gave us amazing games between Hoffenheim and Lyon, back to back, like 3-3 and like a other like 4-4, was it? Or like a 2-2. So yeah, they've give us amazing games and they've played good, but as you see, they are able to compete at that level. But more than that, I don't think they really can. And next up, we got Olympique de Lyon, which are a scary, scary prospect. And I will not like to face them in the round of 16 because they are dangerous. They're powerful, they got pace, they got talent. That's the most important thing. They got Fekir, Depay, Traoré, Ndombele needs to go to a bigger club right now. That guy is absolutely wonderful. He's going to be kind of like Kante. He's going to go like from this season to like 2 seasons. He's going to be like 89 rated on FIFA. That's what's going to happen. Like Tanguy Ndombele is outstanding on this world. His stats are off the world really. So I wouldn't like to face them because I think they're a team like Barcelona. Barcelona could get hurt. They could get hurt. We could like lose against them like 3-0. Then we could like do kind of like a comeback in the Camp Nou, but still they would have scored somewhere, some way. So I'm scared about that prospect. I would not like to face them. We saw how dangerous they could be, even like a team against Manchester City, which right now for me is the best European club at this moment. So Lyon, they are dangerous, and any team who gets them, hopefully not Barcelona, are going to have a very tough time against them. And then first, obviously, we got Manchester City. And in first place, we obviously got Manchester City. And Manchester City, what do I have to say about them? Do we really see them not getting first in this group? They're outstanding. We know how Pep Guardiola manages. He has done very, very good since he arrived to England. Obviously, that first season was bad, but he needed kind of like restructure the team, buy new players, fullbacks. Laporte, the best center back right now in the world. The best center back right now in the world by an answer. It was Skriniar, I could not say it, but with Laporte, I can say it. Laporte is the best center back in the world right now. Better than, obviously, Sergio Ramos. Better than what Barcelona has at the moment. Better than Lenglet and better than Piqué. Better than Chiellini. He's the best. He's the best. He's the best center back right now, really. And yeah, Manchester City, they're going to be real favorites to win the Champions League. Could they win it? Who knows? But they're first. Now in the second to last group, we got Real Madrid in the first position. Second, we got Roma. Third, we got Victoria Pilsen. And fourth, we got CSK Moscow. I'm actually quite surprised to see Victoria Pilsen finish on the third position. They've been good. Like, the points that Victoria Pilsen and CSK Moscow have gotten in this group, it's not like they lost, like they had 0 points and then 1 point. No, they had 7 points and 7 points, with Roma 9 in second, and then Real Madrid with 12, which it's fine, you know. It's good on Real Madrid, but whoa. Victoria Pilsen and CSK Moscow really gave a hard time to Roma. I think that Roma fans at some moment were kind of like scary about them, because this final game they lost against Victoria Pilsen. So in that sense, Roma, they are not good, dude. Let's be honest, this Roma side is not as good as the one last season. Osorio Francesco is not getting things right. And if you tell me which team I would like to get in the Champions League in the round of 16, it will be Roma. And not because of revenge, because I don't care about that. I care about kind of like that kind of like, what do you call it? Kind of like that mystic, that curse, you know? I think that if Barcelona beats Roma from the get-go in the round of 16, from the get-go, like boom, we beat Roma 5-0, something like that. We play really good in the Camp Nou. We beat them so hard they cannot even stand up for the next game. I feel that, and obviously we have to do the same thing at the Olímpico. We have to go there and play amazingly, because we know that that's what happened last season. We are going to break that curse. And then our players and the fans, especially you and me, we're going to look at this team separately. And we're going to be like, you know what? We're going to win the Champions League. And the same thing with the Barcelona players. So I want to break the curse. And that's what I want to face off against Roma. I want to face off against Roma in the round of 16. That's going to be my pick. Leave me in the comment box down below which is going to be your pick. And, well, then from that, we move onwards to Real Madrid. And Real Madrid, this season, they've been awful. They've really been bad. I think it's a problem with age, really. They similar to Bayern Munich and Manchester United, which I'm going to focus in a little bit. They need to kind of like change the gears once again. They need to get new players, because the players they have right now, like Fede Valverde, they got Marcos Llorente, they're good squad players, but players that I don't think they can ever fill the void at Real Madrid. They need like bigger names. Real Madrid is a team that works by having names, like having big names. They don't care about your talent. If you have won 50 Premier Leagues, they want you. So that's why they signed Courtois. Like Keylor Navas has won 3 Champions League back-to-back. He's an outstanding goalkeeper. He has demonstrated time and time again. He and Cristiano Ronaldo are the 2 reasons Real Madrid are able to win 3 Champions League in a row. The same with Zidane. And they just go on and buy Courtois. Yeah, doesn't make sense. They go and buy Courtois. So with that being said, I think that Real Madrid needs to kind of like change that mentality, but that's just how they've worked all this time. That's really, I don't hate the Real Madrid, but that's really why I don't see why many people would like them, because they don't have kind of like that philosophy. They don't have that kind of like they don't have a measurement, really. Like they are so random. One season they could be awful, like right now. The other one they could be good, and when they're good, they're not even that good. They win the Champions League, yeah, but they're in the eye of everybody. Everybody's like, oh my god, Real Madrid won the Champions League, when they're like 18 points behind Barcelona in La Liga. So Real Madrid are a team which I can respect, but like barely, you know. I barely respect Real Madrid, to be honest. And now in Group H, the final group of the Champions League, to finally finish off of this podcast and for me to go to sleep. We got Juventus finish on first, Manchester United finishing second, Valencia finishing third, and then Young Boys finishing last. And certainly this group was one which I expected so much more. And I expect so much more because of Valencia and United. I think those two screw up what I wanted to do in this, what I wanted to see in this group. So I was hoping to see that game of Valencia United, but I just got stuck into the Ajax Bayern Munich. But the thing is here that game for me would have been such a great watch, like similar to what Sevilla did last season at Old Trafford, where they won 2-1 and kicked Manchester United out of the round of 16. I wanted to see something similar to that. But just because United beat Juventus, which in all like respect, it's good. It's a very good result. They're just like, they got lucky, like with Young Boys from that handball from Fellaini. That's nonsense. That cannot happen in football, really. And then they got so lucky in Turin. They got so lucky. Those 2 goals, they got so lucky. So because after that, Manchester United, in all of the other kind of like competitions they suck. They suck ass. They really, really suck. And I don't care if you're a United fan, you suck. And I'm not saying you directly to you. I really want to see this club better because I think that all persons around the world at one point in their life, they all been like, wow, that was a good team. With Sir Alex Ferguson, Manchester United was such a good team. But right now, they're so far away from that. They're really, really far away. And that pains me to see, really. So another team that I would like to face off in the round of 16 would be this team, would be Man U, because I think Barcelona would be doing them a favor if they beat them in the Champions League. I would love to see that as well. And also because, have you seen the channel Full Time Devils? I would love to see their reactions after Barcelona beat them in the Champions League. I know I'm being a little bit too douchey with this one, but I would love to see Barcelona beat United. I don't hate United as an institution. I don't hate their fans. I don't hate their players. I just hate Mourinho. So we should just beat Mourinho. I want to see that so bad. In the case with Juventus, obviously finish first. I gotta say that they are candidates certainly because they obviously got Cristiano Ronaldo. But there's something not just perfect about this team, because they look competitive. They certainly do. But then how did they lose against Young Boys today? That's something I want to watch completely, like the full 90 minutes. Because how did they lose? I want to see if it was because they rotated. They didn't rotate. I know about a fight. I know Cristiano started. But you know what I mean? Like, were they playing really slow? What was their game plan? I just want to see, because that changes a lot of the kind of like view I have on Juventus really for this Champions League if they do that. Because they are candidates, and it seems that any team can really kind of get to them in this season. So I want to see what's going on with this team. But overall, good job on them getting in first. Did we really had any kind of like other thoughts about it? No, Juventus was going to finish first no matter what. And to finally finish off this video, let's talk about all the teams that we have to take a look at, which I would like Barcelona to face off. So Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid, that cannot happen. Barcelona versus Spurs, that cannot happen. Barcelona versus Liverpool would be a very good watch, but we could kind of like regret it at the end because Liverpool could beat Barcelona. Barcelona versus Schalke, it's the easiest pick probably, and everybody would love to see Barcelona kind of like progress easily by beating Schalke. So yeah, Barcelona versus Ajax is kind of like the ideal choice because it's a good watch, but it also kind of is favoritism for Barcelona because they're still one step above than Ajax. Barcelona versus Lyon, I think that could be kind of like a Roma. I feel that Barcelona could beat Lyon easily at the Camp Nou, and then we may regret it when we go back to Lyon. So I do not want to face off Lyon. Group H against Roma, I won that game, like I said, because of the curse that we want to break. So beating Roma, obviously, in the round of 16 would open up so much more confidence, give motivation to our team. So I want to see that. And then in Group H, Manchester United could also be a very good choice. Just that's a personal pick. I would love to play off against Manchester United. I would love our team to beat them. I just want to see Barcelona beat up Manchester United. So with all of that being said, I feel that the best pick that we could have for the round of 16 could be Roma, because like I said, if we break that curse, the motivation in this team is going to be it's going to be kind of like so high, because last season And nobody was complaining about Valverde. Nobody complained about Valverde. Nobody complained about Valverde until the game against Roma. Until the game against Roma, that's when we complained. Why? Because we lost, because we blame it on a 4-4-2 that is kind of like conservative and stuff like that. And that's when people started blaming about Valverde. He obviously got criticism, but not as much after that Roma game. That was a catalyst. So as soon if that gets fixed, if we beat Roma and forget about it and move on, this team is going to do such wonders, because right now this team lives on past mistakes, because we are kind of like living off that, and that's not positive for a good environment in the club. And I want Barcelona to do good, and I feel that if we beat Roma in the round of 16, this team will get that motivational boost like we did with Luis Enrique after that game against Celta de Vigo, and then have the ability to win all 3 trophies. Win the Champions League, win the La Liga, and then win La Copa del Rey. Barcelona should face off against Roma in the round of 16, and then we should have an amazing season. That's my prediction. I hope that we get Roma. So let me hear what you think about this in the comment box down below. And now I can finally go to sleep, because tomorrow I have to shoot for one of my projects and I really, really need some sleep. See you in the next one. Take care. Ciao.